Hi everyone. Today we take a break from our usual travel adventures to bring you an important update and summary of our new normal. As most of us around the world are under lockdown and have very limited travel, our hope is in the near future, we will get back to sharing and dreaming away our travel adventures again very soon in our upcoming videos. Before we get started, make sure you click that red subscribe button so you don't miss out on the future fun. At the time of making this video, there are more than 230,000 confirmed cases reported of coronavirus in the world and growing rapidly as testing backlogs are fulfilled. Sadly, around 10,000 people have lost their lives and many are still under special care for observation. The good news is, over 85,000 people have made a full recovery and reports of identified potential successful treatments and vaccines are currently being studied, including a 103-year-old woman in Iran who has fully recovered. The question now is how long until it's safe to venture out into the world? When will we enjoy social gatherings again? Well, the answers to those questions are a little more complicated than most originally anticipated. So for now, here are some safety tips to protect yourself from COVID-19, especially if you must travel or leave the house. And always check in with your local government and organizations like the CDC and WHO, World Health Organization, for the latest updates and the links listed in the description below. Tip number 1. Just stay home. The WHO has asked people for social distancing, that is, avoiding physical interaction with others to avoid the spread of this contagious disease. So unless absolutely necessary, you should cancel all travel plans and social gatherings until further notice. It is highly advised that you stay home and avoid getting into public places and places where people may gather or in small places where you might not be able to distance yourself from others. This is your best protection against coming in contact with someone or a surface that contains the virus. Also, if you are experiencing any cold-like symptoms such as sore throat, dry cough, running nose, fever, and trouble breathing, it is strongly advised to stay home. Call your doctor immediately and request to be tested for COVID-19. Tip number 2. Do not touch anything or wear gloves. If you must leave the house, do your best to not touch anything once you're out, or consider wearing gloves before you leave and disposing of them just before you return. It is also smart to bring hand sanitizer and alcohol wipes with alcohol content over 60% to help keep surfaces clean while outside the house. Coronavirus is a very small virus that can easily be spread through small droplets, so it is advisable to avoid touching the nose, mouth, and eyes at all times. A mask or fabric covering may be worn over the nose and mouth to help keep you from doing so well in public. Just make sure to properly dispose of this facial covering once you're back indoors and can wash your hands after. Tip number 3. Maintain your distance. Sometimes human interaction is inevitable, especially during travel, but it is advised to keep a distance of at least 6 feet from other people. This social distancing can keep you from potentially catching the virus from an infected person nearby, or you can potentially unknowingly spread it to others. Again, refer to the WHO's recommendations for proper social distancing for up-to-date details here. Tip number 4. Wash your hands regularly. Washing our hands regularly for at least 20 seconds is your best defense at keeping your hands clean and your body healthy. It is especially recommended after touching common surfaces such as door handles, light switches, or tabletops. At a minimum, plan to wash your hands every 1 to 2 hours throughout the day. Also, keep alcohol-based sanitizers handy when you're going out in case you are not near a bathroom and need to clean your hands. If you can't find any at the stores, I found a great, easy recipe you can follow to make your own. See the link above or below. Tip number 5. Relax, sleep, and eat well. While it may seem obvious or somewhat silly to mention, eating proper meals, getting adequate sleep, and keeping stress low will keep your body operating at its best. That way, if you do fall ill, your body will be best equipped to fight the virus. Consider stocking up on immunity-boosting foods such as blueberries, oranges, kiwi, grapefruit, red bell pepper, broccoli, spinach, carrots, yogurt, mushrooms, ginger, garlic, turmeric, and almonds. Take the extra time you may have on your hands from not working or working from home and get on a proper sleep schedule. Getting proper rest always helps your body to recover from the day and your immune system to fight off any intruding diseases. It also may help reduce stress and keep you from feeling anxious. Like Franklin D. Roosevelt said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. So in this time of chaos and panic, we should try to keep as calm as possible and control what we can. While the medical teams work hard to treat and research how to defeat this virus, it's important to stay tuned with updates from your local government and healthcare organizations like WHO and the CDC. Taking some of these precautionary measures we outlined above can further prevent the spread of this disease. Because what's worse than the spreading of this disease is the panic and misinformation that has spread across the world. What many people don't realize is the mortality rate is currently less than 2% for coronavirus, while the common flu and depression take more lives each year than coronavirus has to date. Now I'll get into a few updates we're seeing around the globe. Europe travel ban. Coronavirus originated from Wuhan. However, it did not take much time to spread almost all over the world. Unaware that many were carrying the disease, this highly contagious virus and travelers moving around the world are one of the main reasons why COVID-19 spread so quickly. Upon observation, the European Union decided to impose a 30-day travel ban to 26 European countries from all over the world, which started on March 13th. Also, the USA prohibited travel from Europe and the UK to their borders. If the threat persists, the ban may need to be extended for a longer period of time until the virus is under control and effective treatment or treatments can be identified. Italy and China. China, where it is said to have all started in a live market in Wuhan, currently has been holding steady at about 82,000 reported cases. As it appears right now, China has been able to contain the outbreak. Fewer cases are being reported and the recovery rate has increased greatly every day, with over 70,000 patients to date marking a full recovery. On March 15th, doctors successfully discharged their final patient from the temporary hospitals that they set up for coronavirus patients, and certain retailers such as Apple have begun to reopen their doors to the public. Similarly, restaurants, barbershops, parks, public transportation are slowly being reopened and businesses are beginning to operate under normal hours again. However, the Chinese citizens are still at risk for another wave of infections, so people are still being encouraged to stay in quarantine for a bit longer to prevent any further complications. Italy is the country that unfortunately got hit very hard and fast from the coronavirus. Around 41,000 people have been affected, out of which 3,500 have deceased while around 4,500 have recovered. One of the reasons why Italy has experienced many deaths in a really short amount of time is that they have the second oldest population in the world. Since a majority of the patients die globally have weak immune systems, it makes Italy prone to a higher mortality rate. Secondly, the Italian hospitals are overwhelmed by the number of patients needing care and have not been able to effectively cater the huge overflow of critically ill patients. Unfortunately, there have been reports of them facing the dilemma of who to treat and who they would let to perish. Now Italy is on a complete quarantine. The streets are empty and famous monuments are closed off. In this hard time, the locals have been supporting each other through social media and positive notions such as daily terrace concerts. It is still being assessed at this time when containment will be deemed successful and under control. With the coronavirus, initial reports say the incubation period for this disease can be as long as 14 days, taking much time for symptoms to develop once the virus enters the body. And some have tested positive and have been contagious that never showed any symptoms. This is why many countries have mandated its citizens to remain at home and avoid any social gatherings or visit to public places where crowds form. It's the best protection for all of us to remain healthy and protect our neighbors. But there is hope. Coronavirus has shown promise that it can be contained, so many are looking to slow the spread of the virus and flatten the curve of those affected, to give medical professionals time to catch up and focus their attention on a few critically ill rather than thousands to millions. At this time, there is no vaccine or medication that can cure people. However, there has been reports around the globe of vaccines and clinical trials and other treatments showing promise, even for the highest risk categories. Many countries are all working together to make these available to everyone as soon as possible. But they do need time to prove their safetiness and safety for the masses. So for now, We hope you'll join us in doing our part by following our best judgment, practicing these tips such as social distancing and proper hygiene techniques, and allowing our medical professionals to do what they do best so we can all come out of this stronger and better prepared for the future. And that brings us to the end of our video. Thank you for your continued support, and I hope you'll find these guidelines helpful in keeping well and protecting yourself from the coronavirus. If you did, please subscribe and share this video with a friend. Stay tuned for our next video on some of our dream vacation and previous travel adventures. See you in our next video.